Now let's talk about the deception. Let's talk about the plunge protection team. Let's talk about the stock market here. But let's really talk about some fiscal issues here. And the one thing that they're not paying any attention to is the cost of illegal immigration. They had a big problem with tax cuts. They don't have a problem with spending. And they don't have a problem with spending money on illegal immigrants. Foreign citizens criminally trespassing and coming here for the benefits. And we'll tell you why that is actually true, in spite of what Nancy Pelosi had to say in that 8-hour speech. Her record, she set an all-day marathon speech. I saw this report and I saw people were saying filibuster, filibuster. I said, there's no filibuster, not in the House. That's in the Senate. Well, she took advantage of an obscure rule, as Democrats are known to do. And she was able to use her privileges as Speaker of the House. So she beat a record that had been there since 1909 that was set by a previous Speaker of the House. And I think it was interesting when you look at the story from USA Today. They went back and looked at the history. That Speaker of the House was James Beauchamp Clark, also nicknamed Champ Clark. He was a prominent Democrat. He was Speaker of the House, and he wanted to get the Democrat nomination to run for president, but he lost that election to Woodrow Wilson. He spoke for 5 hours and 15 minutes about a tariff bill that was being passed. He lost on that issue, too. So hopefully this is going to set a precedent that Nancy Pelosi loses on the issue, that Nancy Pelosi and her cohorts lose on the election. But the main thing that you'll see here is 8 hours and did it in high heels, as they said, because the DACA Dreamer kids are worth it. That was a tweet that came out from Jackie Spear. She spoke for 8 hours and 5 minutes in 4-inch heels because the kids are worth it. The kids are worth wearing heels? I mean, was that poor planning, a fashion statement, virtue signaling? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to go over that well, again, with her pantsuit brigade. And she thanks illegal aliens for breaking the law and bringing dreamers to the United States. That's the headline from Breitbart. And that pretty much sums it up. But let's play some excerpts from the Queen's speech.
We have a moral responsibility to act now to protect dreamers who are the pride of our nation and are American in every way, but on paper. So I use this occasion
Stop. Okay, we do not have a moral responsibility to foreign citizens. No, there is no right for anybody in the world to come here and become an American. This is an idea that is sold by the Gang of Eight, by John McCain, by Lindsey Graham. America is simply an idea. It isn't a nation. It doesn't have any laws. It doesn't have any culture. And so anybody can come here. And then we have a moral obligation to provide for them an education and any welfare benefits that they need, according to the Democrats, because they are constantly, number one, constantly searching for dependents. So what could be better than bringing in underage dependents and telling people that you're welcome? Look at the Trump effect. Remember this time a year ago, how border crossings plummeted to levels that we hadn't seen for decades? It was because they didn't expect that they were going to be able to stay. So why make the trip? It's a difficult trip. It's a dangerous trip. It's an expensive trip if you hire human traffickers. So why make that trip? But then, as soon as President Trump said, we're going to do wonderful things for the dreamers, the Hispanic community and the dreamers, they're going to love what I'm going to do for them. What happened? You saw the crossing levels go right back up to where they were under Obama when he said the same thing. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more of the Queen's speech, more information about the budget, and about the military intervention abroad. We'll be right back. Here's more of the Queen.
This bill to speak further about social justice in America. We feel like second-class members of Congress over here when it's not within our realm to discuss.
It's because you lost the election.
Discussed across the country.
You're second class because you came in second
at the White House, but here we can't have the opportunity to officially discuss legislation that is on the floor. And that is why I'm taking this time, my congressional leadership, 1 minute, to read into the record these inspiring stories.
That's the way they calculate. 1 minute turns into 8 hours.
Luke was 11 years old. His family brought him to the United States from South Korea. His parents brought him to the United States from Thailand when he was 9 years old. Licia Dalla, Indian American. her personal story. Alejandro Gonzalez story goes like this, Mr. Speaker. Luis Gonzalez, when Luis was 8 years old, his family came to the United States from Mexico.
You get the idea.
We have a little boy.
It's one sob story after the other. Let's give you one of those sob stories that she's got. I'll give you a couple of them here because in that clip, it was put together by the Washington Post, of course. They're not going into the details of all these people. But Breitbart did. Breitbart said Nancy Pelosi is entranced by 3 million dreamers. Yeah, you're dreaming about this. There's no such law. Insults American children. And they point out that her speech also shows how President Trump's America First campaign platform has pushed angry Democrats to embrace a political strategy of foreigners first. It was actually a strategy. Foreigners first strategy is actually a suicide pact for the Democrats unless we join them in the suicide pact. Unless Trump and the GOP join them in that suicide pact, then it becomes a suicide pact for you and I and for America, for the culture, for the values, for the system that we have always had here, because we will lose control of that system.